Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning business chat. We get together on Thursday mornings for a half hour of business training, and then we stay here for another half hour of business Q&A. So if you have any kind of business questions about anything at all, this is the time after our training. And before we jump into our call, I just want to give an announcement in case everyone did not get the announcement. There is no ordering of X2O today. It will resume next week. They are ramping up their inventory, and we're not exactly sure what the reason is, but they sent a message out to all the brand partners. I know some didn't get it. I did post it in the Live Younger Facebook group. You want to make sure you're a member. You have to be invited by a member. It's for brand partners only. And please, when you invite people, put in their membership information because they have to be approved by our admins. And if the information is there, they get declined, and we want you there. So we are going to jump into our meeting today. And, we have a special guest who she shows up, and we are so blessed to have her. Dr. Velvet is a metaphysician and one of our leaders, and she does these amazing trainings. And we've been on an interesting ride the last several months. And it was her idea to come up with this riding the roller coaster of MLM. And we are thrilled to turn things over to Dr. Velvet this morning to take us through a ride, the ups and downs of network marketing, right?
No, absolutely. And we've all been feeling it lately, I'm sure. So I want to
Yes.
first, yes, thank you, Robin, for that lovely introduction. And this is a passion of mine. And I believe it's a passion of mine because I've lived it. So everything that I'm sharing with you today is not made up. It wasn't learned in a book. I wrote about it in a book, in two books actually, but I have lived everything that I am going to be sharing with you guys today. Now, before we start, though, I would like to clarify something because we say network marketing. And network marketing is much different than marketing because, as a marketing director, I can tell you this is very, very different. So, even though I've been a marketer, I want all of you to know that that doesn't give me any special skill. It doesn't give me any special skill because when you're working for a company and you are the marketer, you are hobnobbing, you are going out to dinner, all of it is paid expense by the company. You're kind of like the shining light of the company to attract people in. So it doesn't, when it comes to network marketing, it's so much different because it's about building personal relationships. It's about people understanding you, feeling heard, feeling seen. And so we're going to jump in. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you guys. Let me get this up. All right. So when it's about the ups and downs of marketing, I can tell you, network marketing, we have all felt it lately, right? We have felt where we were excited about something and then something didn't go as planned. Or maybe you're getting excited for an event that you're doing, you're building that momentum, and then you do the event and you feel like, well, it didn't do anything for me. So I want you to know that when it comes to network marketing, how momentum, setbacks, and structure build a strong leader. Everything that I am going to give you today is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you lead in a way that you never even thought of. And again, remember, these are things that I have experienced myself. So when we have these setbacks and challenges, they're not failure. And I really want to give you a great example of this. In my clinics, my staff would get all upset and say, "Oh, Dr. Velvet, the client is really upset about this, or somebody called about that." And I would calm them down and I would say, "Okay, let's breathe. Nobody's dying today. Let's take a moment and let's see what the situation is showing us." So even if you have these slow months, those slow months are revealing a weakness in the system. So what I was showing my team is that where there is these discrepancies, where are these objections, then that means that some structure needs to be built into it. And I can tell you, oh my gosh, they started loving conversations. They started coming to me and say, hey, I know what you're going to say. We need to look at this in a different way to see what we need to do better. And that's exactly what I'm welcoming all of you to do today. So if you feel that you're having some slow months, then look at where there's a weakness within the system that you are applying, because the system is in place. We have to use it. We're going to get to that too. And also, rejection builds resilience. So that resilience is who am I identifying myself as? So it allows us to really think about our mindset, and it also allows us to deepen our purpose. If we quit after the first rejection, then did we really have a strong why? Did we really have a strong mindset? Did we really have a strong passion for this? And these are all questions that we have to ask ourselves. So the goal isn't about avoiding all of these ups and downs. The goal is to become the leader who stays steady through them. And Robin and Gregory are such great examples of that for us, is that we've got to have that forward thinking. This setback is just for our good. It's helping us to build stronger. It's helping us to put structure and plans and implement ideas that will carry us even further into the future. So when you're feeling the setback, realize that you haven't done anything wrong. It's that you've not been able to see the full picture. And I really invite you to sit with yourself on a regular basis. We're even going to talk about those ups. So I'm going to give you kind of like something. I want you to just close your eyes if you want to, but pretend that you're on a roller coaster. You know how the roller coaster, it click, 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 and it's going up, 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 and you're bracing, right? We're bracing because a click, click, click up means, woo, there's going to be a curve that comes. But have you ever been on a ride where it was a click, 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 and then it was a solid straight run? Did that feel disappointing? Did it feel like, wait a minute, where's the adventure? Where's the excitement? I know I've been on a ride like that. So what we want to do is we don't want to use these ups and downs as motivational or movement into moving down and up as a reflection of what's going on the outside, but more of what's going on in the inside. I had this beautiful video and I wanted to bring this up for you guys, but the greatest analogy I saw were two marbles that were riding side by side, and one of them is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and the other one is just going straight. Which one do you think got into the hole first? The one that went up and down, up and down, up and down. Why is that? Because the up and down, up and down, up and down is where your real success and growth lies. Not a steadiness, because that puts in some kind of other structure of monotony. So structure will help calm the swings, but we do want to enjoy those swings. So what is structure? Well, when I was a nurse, it used to be, or a teacher, it was an outline. As a nurse, it was our plans. And now we have this word that's really been coming out lately, you're probably seeing a lot, is about structure. So, however you want to call it, whether it's your outline, whether it's your plan, whether it's your documentation, whatever you want to call it, the structure needs to be put into place to allow you to enjoy the swing, right? To enjoy the swing. I love swinging. I love a good roller coaster, but I don't like it when it goes off the rails and when I start feeling very emotionally attached to it. So the structure doesn't limit our freedom. It actually creates the stability, just like it did within my clinics. Is that when there was an issue, let's talk about it. So now how are we going to build this structure that's going to calm down the swing? Well, the very first thing that we have to be able to do is a daily discipline. We have to be disciplined in our daily mode of operation, our daily action plan, our daily um, money operating systems. And when we put them in a daily disciplined plan, what happens is that repeated becomes unconscious, right? So we now have that unconscious competence of just picking up the phone and being able to call people and not feeling afraid. So many of you have gone to a university, and I know you know what this feels like. Is that the first time you step onto the university, you feel overwhelmed. The buildings look gigantic. You're kind of shy. You're kind of afraid. You don't know who to speak to. You don't know where you're going to be. But by the time you have finished your 4 years, you own that university. You know exactly where to go. The building seems small. You're talking and chatting up to everybody because it was a daily discipline of showing up. So there's been some comments on here in the past that fear is really getting in the way. Well, I'm an Aries. And so when I fear something, I don't let it set me back. I charge forward. I move through it. But a lot of you are not built that way. But the way to be able to come over fear is by addressing it every single day. And like I said at the beginning, nobody dies by making a phone call. But if you're feeling rejection, again, it's to go back into the mindset of who am I identifying with? What am I identifying myself with? And who am I? Am I a person that believes in this product? And I love this statement that I make to myself every single day. I identify as a woman who lives in integrity. That is important to me. And every single thing that I do is based off of that identity. So when I make phone calls, I'm identifying myself as a woman who lives from that space of integrity. It makes those phone calls so much easier. But it also makes it easier when I show up to an event to meet a perfect stranger and say, "Hi, what did you do good this weekend? What did you enjoy this weekend?" The other thing that can calm down the swings is just the simple systems. We have them. We have those simple systems. I'm going to talk a little bit further in some of the slides where those get integrated. And then we do have to have clear metrics. And that means that we do put goals down. We're striving to achieve those goals. And if we give up on our goals, then the subconscious mind begins to say, well, why even make a goal? Because you're not reaching them anyway. And the subconscious mind will now project out that you're a constant failing at your goals rather than achieving those goals. But the best way to clear that metric system of what it was started at the very first slide or the second slide of where we take those objections of ourselves and we look at what it is about us, right? And we look at what our idea is. And then, of course, having that consistent foundation. So it's not about changing your presentation every time you do a presentation. It's not about changing your structure when you call somebody. It's not about changing the tools that are already given to you, but rather using those tools to be consistent in your foundation. Now, as a marketing director, we're expected to show up on a certain time and contact so many homes at a certain time. As a network marketer, we are our own boss. And there's some goods and bads in that because we're our own boss. We feel like we can do whatever we want, but we can also say, well, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. So when we start building that consistent foundation, all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, "Ooh, wow, I am ready to start my day. I know exactly what I need to do." And I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to give you a little tip. Every night before I go to bed, I get my calendar out, I got my whiteboard out, and I put everything that I want to achieve for the following day so that when I wake up, I know that I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do, that I've already provided that structure for me to do it throughout my day. So tools do not build businesses. And this is something that we need to be very, very clear on because a lot of people will come to me and will tell me that the tools aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I find out later is that they're not using the tools. So leaders are using tools and they're doing it well. So the tools are there to amplify your habits. They don't replace your skills. So, like your presentation, right? So, your presentations, you share your message with confidence. Now, a presentation can be done anywhere, folks. But if you're feeling like the presentation isn't working for you, then you need to step back and see where you're not confident in that presentation or allowing what has already been created for you that has been successful that makes you feel now that you have to recreate it. That's a huge one. So remember, tools are amplifying habits. You don't have to recreate the wheel, it's already there for you. And events. This is where we leverage energy and we're building the momentum. Now, after a while, we do hear this. Well, I've already contacted everybody I know. I've already gone through my list. I don't have anybody else to talk to. Well, what that alerts me to, if I go back to that second slide of if I'm feeling like a failure, what is it that I'm not doing that I need to be doing? What could I be doing better? It's letting me know that you're not engaging in events even around your local community. You're not showing up to chamber meetings. You're not inviting yourself to events so that you can show up. But let's take this a little step further. Events could be a bingo game. It could actually be somebody that is sitting right next to you that is complaining that they have knee pain. You can say, well, I can really relate to that. Tell me more, right? You don't want to sit there and say, oh, you got knee pain? I got a patch for that. Here, you want me to give that to you? You want me to put it on you? No, we want them to feel heard, but also we want to open up that space so that we can feel heard. So no matter where you're going, even out to dinner is an opportunity. It's an event. When I go to the club, it's an event. When I go swimming, it's an event. So I think we're narrowing our vision when it comes to some of the tools that are already there for us. And events can be a ball game. It can be just as simple as that. Don't overcomplicate things. And then sampling tools, open doors, start conversation, just like I said. I've got this lady next to me. We're playing bingo, and she says she's got this awful pain, and we've had this discussion, and then I can lean in and I can say, I have something that you might be interested in. I'm happy to give you a sample. So how many times are you doing that? Again, that's a tool. Your patches are a tool. And when I market myself to massage therapists, I don't market myself as a patch therapist. I don't market the patches. What I do is I tell them I've discovered a tool that when I'm using it on the table, clients are relaxing more. Because you can put the tool on your table, folks. Your patches are your tools. And then a follow up system. That is a tool that you have to have because that is where really we see a lot of slippage happening is that people lose their momentum. Things have started like back and forth, and we're on this roller coaster ride right now. A lot of people, we have to kind of build them back up. Everything's going to be okay. That ride it's showing us something even better. And people give up on the follow ups because they themselves feel lost. So your follow up system will help you to stay in that momentum. It will help you to stop focusing on what's not working and focusing on doing what has worked. And then you can focus on, okay, how can I make this better? Don't focus on what's not working, but focus on what can I do better when I see something that's not working. And then, of course, we all know that we have videos and content. These are tools. But many people, again, are not using them. You don't have to do a lot of talking. You can just simply say, can I share a video with you? Hey, I'd like to invite you to Doc Talk. So when I've spoken before and I've talked about third-party tools, a lot of people have asked me, well, I don't know what a third-party tool is. Any tool that's not in your direct possession, like your patches, our tool that's specific to you. A third party tool is your Doc Talk. Your third party tool is your Power of the Patch. Your third party tool is Monday Morning Miracle. Your third party tool is also a video or a presentation that has been done that you share with them. So open up to those possibilities. And while I'm speaking about this, pick out your favorite, have it in your notes somewhere, have it to where it's accessible. Because what somebody will do to me is, Dr. Velvet, I've got this person right now and I need a video of blah, 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 blah. Can you get that for me? All right, so let's just step back a second. We need to help them to become leaders as well. And so every new brand partner that we get on board with us needs to have these tools in their toolbox, and they need to know where to find them so that when the roller coaster goes up and down, up and down, up and down, that the structure sustains them and that they can grow within that sustainability. And when I say grow within that sustainability, I'm also talking about their new identity. And I've talked about this so many times. People would say to me, "Oh, you must be a senior presidential," or whatever it was back then in the day. And I would say, "No, I am a director, but I am being a senior presidential. I show up as a senior presidential." So it's not about trying to become something different than what your rank is. It's about becoming the identity of the person, of the success that you desire to experience. So if you want the success of an executive director, then be that person now, because being is what gets you what you want, not getting what you want and then becoming it. And then, of course, you guys are probably looking at this and saying, "No, this is AI generated." That's absolutely right. I'm a smart person. I save myself time. It wasn't until later yesterday that I brought this, subject up as a possibility for us to discuss today with Robin and Gregory. And I got a answer a little bit later, and I was like, okay, well, I don't have time to do anything now, but I can do it later. It doesn't use the tools that you have, use the technology that you have, work smarter and stay organized. AI is an amazing tool for you to get your point across. There's no way, there is absolutely no way that I would have been able to create the slides that I did with all the little nuances in this in less than 30 minutes. Now, I already had the outline, it's lived, it's in here. AI doesn't tell you or connect with the person. AI needs you to direct it. So AI helps to make things clearer. AI is a tool that you can use for structure, because trust me, I know what it's like to get into a stream of consciousness and the next thing you know, I've lost my entire audience. That has happened to me. So because it's happened to me, I build structure around everything that I do, and I use my AI tools or my tech tools to keep me focused, because I can go off on a tangent. And I do very good at staying very clear. So the right tools plus the right skills and the right habits create extraordinary results. And those extraordinary results, now we're on that roller coaster ride and we're like, woo, I am ready. Let's slam it down and let's go back up, because I am no longer emotionally attached to the outcome. Let me say that again. I am no longer emotionally attached to the outcome. I'm enjoying the ride. I enjoy every single thing that I do every single day. Even when there's a objection, I enjoy it. I know people are like, "Well, Dr. Velvet, you're just weird," because there's no way. I don't like objections. I don't like rejection. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes rejection. Nobody does. But make it fun. Make it fun. So this is where we balance the highs and the lows. And these are things to remember because I remember being at my clinic and when things were really going good and the therapists were kind of, you know, pounding on their chest. Woohoo! Look at how many clients we had today. Look at what we brought in this month. I would quickly look at them and I would say, bring it down to earth. So when we get up, we need to stay humble and we need to keep duplicating. Because the other thing that I see that practitioners do is that they'll market to get clients and then they're busy with clients and then all of a sudden it drops off because they are not continuing the duplication system in their marketing. They're not marketing every week. They're not marketing every day. They're only marketing when they need to market, and that need comes from a lack. So did you all hear that? Because if you're signing people up and you're real excited about it and you're really high of like, oh, I signed up 6 people this month. This is great. Well, you still need to keep that duplication up because how long did it take you to get those 6 people? It probably took you months. It didn't happen overnight. So, see, when you build that consistency in your day every single day, now you have resources to pull from. And that's how the 6 people in a month come in because you've done the work consistently. And then you don't want to abandon the fundamentals. You know, Robin and Gregory do such an amazing job for us in providing those fundamentals. They're giving us all of the training that we need, but many people abandon them because they're like, oh, I've already heard that before. Well, hear it again, but listen to it at a new level. Hear it 3 or 4 times with your new ears, with your new mindset. You might hear something different. And then when things are down, this is so critical. And I had to really stress this with my staff is because when things got down, there was all this down-moded mood stuff. And I'm like, well, you guys, let's just stay consistent. That's all we need to do. If this is a downtime, there's windows to be cleaned. If there's a downtime, is your office clean? Now, that might sound like I was a drill sergeant, but I was training them to be leaders themselves because I wanted to build my business beyond me. And I hope that you guys are thinking the same thing with your work you're doing, even in LifeWave, is that you want to build it beyond you, meaning that every single person on your team is now building beyond themselves. And that's only going to happen through consistency. So when things are down, don't personalize rejection. They're not rejecting you. They may be rejecting that they don't have enough information or that they just don't resonate with the patch for some reason. Maybe somebody said something to them. It's not about you. So don't personalize it. Just go with it and say, thank you. I appreciate your time. And then refined instead of react. I'm going to keep emphasizing that over and over and over again with my team, with myself, with my family, is let's refine this instead of reacting to it. So I have pups and many of, well, pups, they're almost 4 years old now, but they're still pups to me, right? And anybody who has children understands what I'm getting ready to say is that when, let's take children. Let's say that you're getting ready to go on a trip and you've packed the diaper bag and you think you're going to throw that child into the car seat and they're going to be happy for 4 hours to just drive in the back of that seat and not make a peep. And then you're going to react to it. And you're going to, oh, I'm wondering why she's crying. Oh, she must need changing. Oh, she must be hungry. Why is she crying? Well, I was the kind of parent, I knew what kind of experience I wanted to have. So when I packed my children up, I was prepared. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have screens in the back of our car. So I had to become very, very creative. And if all of you would just kind of, separate yourself from that for a minute, you are creative. You don't need a screen to keep a child quiet. So what I did is I refined instead of reacted. I prepared ahead of time of what the reaction I wanted. I wanted the experience myself, so I prepared for it. Are you doing that in your business now? Are you saying, hey, I want to refine this because this is the kind of experience I want to have? I do it every day. If I know that I'm getting ready to call somebody, I'm planning in my head. Like I'm thinking about it of like, okay, how do I want this conversation to go? And if I want it to go this way, what kind of conversations do I need to have with them? I did it with my chamber event that I had. I thought about it for an hour and a half if I drove to the chamber event out in Addison of like, okay, this is important to me. This is how I want this experience to go. And oh my gosh, it was better than I imagined in my mind. So balance means not getting inflated in the momentum and not getting deflated in the slowdown. So you guys are disappointed because of the water system not coming out. That's not a time to be defeated or say something's got to be wrong with the company. Why can't they do better than this? No, that's a time for you to say, oh, wait a minute. It's paused long enough for me to get the word out. It's paused enough now that I can call somebody. Oh, it's paused enough so that I can do a little bit of my own research. What kind of experience do I want to have? So the pause is allowing you to say and to reflect on what you want to achieve. Go for it. Have a steady mindset, build a strong structure, and sustain that success. That is leadership. And we're always all leading ourselves. Robin and Gregory aren't telling us what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm providing information for you to become strong leaders in your own right. But leaders have to be able to understand that we got all these ups and downs. And oh my gosh, if we don't know that's true from the stories that David has shared with us, we're not listening hard enough. That man, he has not given up on us. He's not given up on himself. And that's the key. Don't give up on yourself. You're in this for a reason. Something attracted you to it. So let's refine the questions. So every dip is asking a question. And growth is happening through that reflection, right? It has to happen all the time. But if we're reacting all the time, we're not getting that growth. So if we're always talking about what's going wrong, we're not reflecting. If we're always talking about what's going wrong, we're also not refining. We're not realigning and we're not rising. We're bringing everyone above and below us. We're trying to bring them down to our level. Leaders don't do that. Leaders lead the way and shine that light so that other people can see clearly. So it begins in the mindset. What beliefs do I need to strengthen about myself? And I can tell you every day is a mindset shift for me. It's very, very important to me in how I carry myself, how I see myself. And you might want to say, well, you really care about what other people see of you first. No, I care about my integrity. My integrity is the biggest thing in my life. What is the biggest thing in your life? Write that down right now. What is the biggest thing in your life? And then my methods, what approaches do I need to adjust or to improve? What about my systems? And remember, I was talking about it earlier. You should be helping your team to have these videos and these links available to them on the demand. They shouldn't be calling you to say, oh, but I've got so and so. What do I need to send to them? Step back, build that structure, and send it to them and say, this has been given to you. This is where you can find it. Point them to the tool. And then my schedule. How can I better prioritize what matters to me? So if LifeWave matters to me, it has to be included in my day. And it has to be included in my daily actions and my daily activity. It has to also come in how I speak because I want to I don't want to present myself as a know-it-all, but I do want people to see me as articulate enough that they want to ask questions, if that makes sense. And then my skill set. What skills do I need to grow? And they're all available to us, guys. So downturns often ask for improvement, and that's what we need to do, not panic. And we have seasons when we're building, right? You build as a leader, there's a season for that. In the spring, we plant. Now, spring doesn't mean, okay, it's springtime now, I need to plant the seeds. Spring means any time in your season, anytime. You could have started with LifeWave in October. That's when you're starting to plant those seeds, right? So it's not about the physical seasons, it's about the seasons in the mind and in your body. And then summer, that's when things are growing. So you've planted the seeds, you've let the universe know what you want, you're kind of building that foundation for yourself. And then in the summertime, that's when we have to stay consistent. We have to keep watering our ideas. We have to nurture them daily. We can't plant the seeds and then say, okay, well, let me see if it's growing yet and dig up the dirt. You have to plant the seeds and you have to nurture them. And then in autumn is when it's come to fruition, right? Things are ready to harvest. Those people that we've been talking to are now starting to even lean in more, and they're starting to ask more questions, and they're saying, I think this is something I need in my life. And then winter is when this is what's so interesting, is that nature teaches us this, but we're not listening, is that winter strengthens the roots, guys. It doesn't make them weaker, it makes them stronger. They go inward. So the building can't be seen outwardly, but it does show up, right? And it shows up in your own leadership style and your stability. So stability is not just in spurts, right? We go up and down that roller coaster. We have situations that kind of pull us back and then back forward again, and like, okay, well, the water systems, hey, go for it. No, no, it's not about that. It's about having that steadiness of, hey, I'm taking my time. I'm building this the right way for me. So we don't chase. We're not overhyping. We're not spiking. We're not building that stability in emotional momentum. We build from consistency every day. I know it's hard for some of you. You're like, I don't want to do this every day. But every day, one action, two actions can do it for you. And then build retention. And retention is not just about building people that stay with you, but building that retention that other people are watching you, right? People who haven't joined you yet are watching you. And then leadership depth, right? That's what we want to do. We want to be able to build that stability underneath us. And I love the analogy my husband gave me. We had a tenant meeting, and people were complaining that the hospital wasn't being built fast enough. And the person that was in charge of this meeting said, look, we have to build a strong foundation, because if we don't, we'll never be able to move up. He said we could build this very quick and it could sustain 2 floors. But if we want growth, we have to build bigger and wider. Ooh, did that just click? We have to build bigger and wider so that we can now build up higher. When the demand is there, and not only build when there's a demand to build. Wow. All right, let that sit with you today. And then sustainable volume. That's what we want to build. So anyone can have a big month, but leadership is building something that holds. And I learned that myself, you guys, when I came in here and I signed up all those diamond peoples. I was like, oh my gosh, I shine and oh, I've done this right. And then it went silent. But it was a great lesson for me in doing it and sharing with you everything that I've taken from my business, because in that moment I had to stop and I said, I had sustainability in my massage practices and in my health food store. Why am I not duplicating that over here? And then I pulled all of this back in, started paying more closer attention to my leaders, listening to those connections, and allowing my brain to pop it in. So stability is the goal and legacy is the result, and it's built to last. So I want to give you a short one that you can write down. You can screenshot this one, is rise, lead through, grow beyond. Rise is for review. What happened? Look back with honesty and clarity. You have to be honest with yourself. I is for identity. Find the insight in every single experience, guys. Every single experience. S is for your strength, and that's going to be the structure that you're building on that. So build better systems, habits, and boundaries, right? You got to have those. And then E is for expand, and expand on everything. Apply the lesson, elevate your impact. So R is for review, I is for identity, S is for strength, and E is for expand. And think about it this way, that every challenge that you are experiencing is shaping you. All you just need to do is keep building and keep leading as you continue to build a better foundation for yourself. This isn't something that you have to sit with overnight or 3 days. This is every single day. So, strong mindset, solid structure, lasting impact. And that's really what leadership is. So, as I said earlier, this presentation is based on my real life experiences and my lessons. It's not just a theory, it is lived. And so, go out there and live it too. Go out and build your business the way that you want. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I tell people all the time, you're kind of getting stuck in the mud because you want everything to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. And that's where leadership really gets you into the the greatness of your journey and being able to sustain that ride. All right.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Velvet. Yay. Um, you know, there's so much wisdom came through here today from you, and we're so grateful. And, life is not a straight line, and there's ups and downs, but our whole intention is to go from these extremes to have it be at a higher frequency with less extremes. And, it is a personal development program with a compensation plan. And life is not a straight line, and business is not a straight line, and stuff happens, and it does strengthen us. And when you talked about, structure creating freedom, I learned that many, many years ago because I was resistant because freedom is a high value for me and I didn't want structure. But then when I created it, I went, oh my gosh, it does give freedom. And, I have so many notes here. I hope everyone else was taking notes because there is such great stuff in here. Daily disciplines. And using the tools, using the structure that exists. There's so much there. Our mindset. It really our success in life, and that's the work, is what's between our ears and not what happens. Because yesterday my phone blew up when people heard that they couldn't order X2O today. And then there were some people that just took it so well, and it was very interesting for me to observe. And that's where this talk came from, because stuff happens that's outside of our control. And
That's
how
right.
can we maintain a stability, like Dr. Velvet talked about, no matter what is happening to us? It's like, oh, okay, that didn't work. I thought it was going to be very successful. It didn't work. But you know what? Next. And when you are filling the pipeline, when you're consistent, it eventually, Gregory says, be here a year from now. We didn't know the journey that X2O was going to take. David wanted it out a earlier than it came out, but there were things that happened beyond his control. And we just had to say, okay, next, and continue on, because the stability in our business is not going to come from X2O sales. It's a nice boost when you get one, but the stability comes from the consistency and people using the patches regularly. And tomorrow, David's going to be doing a talk for the leaders that will be presented to everyone very soon, of some additional things we're going to be able to share with X39 and Celergize. And then there's that wonderful video on synergy with the three things: X2O, X39, and Celergize, which will be the great trio, the synergy. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That was really, really fabulous. I have things highlighted all over and I remember years ago on stage, David said to all of us, learn AI. become friends with AI. And it's like what Dr. Velvet pulled off today. This happened last night, like she said. And look at that just miraculous, magnificent slideshow she gave and presentation. Now she has the content in her to create the slides, but AI can save so much time. And, we know there's a dark and a light side. And I learned a wonderful explanation recently of the dark and the light side. If it's used well, it helps you save time with great information and visuals and outlines and all kinds of things. If it's being manipulating to your emotions, that becomes the dark side. And so we want to stay away from that. But I want to see if anyone has any questions for Dr. Velvet. If you want to raise your hand, that would be great. If anyone has any questions, or this is the time where we have questions about anything at all business related. This is the time to raise your hand because we can handle any kind of business questions or anything for Dr. Velvet. Or if you just want to acknowledge her and thank her, because I was watching the chat and people were so grateful, um, to have this because life happens. CJ FER.
Yeah, it's Ferguson, but it didn't go all the way through. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah.
We have now, and I don't know how to disengage it. So is there a link I can go to, or maybe Gregory could type something in the chat to stop the now? I enrolled in it back in January, and now it's going through, but I don't want it.
Oh, okay. So, great question. Reach
Thank
out
you.
to the company and let
Okay.
them know that you no longer are interested.
I'll
And
go to LifeWave itself
uh, there is a customer service for now for the Now app. I
in
don't know if it
the
is.
resources. I couldn't find it in the back
Well,
office.
we don't have it in our resources,
Oh,
but
okay.
you can call customer service and ask. And if anyone on the call knows it and wants to write that
Wonderful.
in the chat, that
Thank
would
you.
be
That's all I need was
great.
some direction. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Robin.
And,
Excuse me
and,
for
and
interrupting.
we have some really exciting news soon on another tool coming out that you're going to love, love,
Yeah, I
love.
heard that earlier this week and last week too. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that. But I just didn't know how to
Yeah.
get disengaged, the one I have now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Jerry.
Regarding that question, how I got mine back, I guess about 3 weeks ago, I really wasn't using it and I didn't like it. And in the back office in your Now site, you can do a chat. And I chatted with about 5 people till I finally got my money back also. I just kept going that,
Great. Thank
the
you,
whole
Jerry.
thing. Yeah.
Thank you. We love helping each other. That's
Thank
wonderful.
that's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Ravel.
Um, Good day. Anything I could say right now is as a result of learning from the Live Younger community. Dr. Velvet, I love the comment on the daily discipline of showing up and how follow-up helps keep the momentum. Um, you know, it is a bit of a roller coaster in that, I had a couple of really good weeks, and I know it's because I just didn't give up. And because we have amazing technology, the best product in the world here at LifeWave. So I'm extremely grateful for that. Uh, One thing that Robin has said in the past is that we get to love a lot of people in network marketing or relationship marketing. And an example was this morning doing grocery shopping. There was somebody at the cash register that said that an individual was having a challenge recovering from surgery. So I hesitated because I didn't know this person, but I just shared, and I showed her the patch and so on. And it's just that consistency of showing up every day, and it doesn't have to feel like work. And one thing about structure, I feel personally rebellious about structure. I'm probably unemployable now. But what structure with a daily action plan, as you pointed out, Dr. Velvet, has done for me is it enables me to live a life of less structure. There's more flexibility thanks to this incredible business. So I just wanted to make mention. Thank you for mentioning third-party tools, and tools are definitely it's really life changing. If just one last thing, I'm meeting with somebody who's coming back to LifeWave, and I picked up on some recalcitrance there, and I thought, what could this be? And then I realized that I had the benefit of working in a commission only basis full time for a few years before engaging in this amazing company, LifeWave. And I thought if we could, I just said that even, you're amazing in sales in your company. Now that you've left that company, it just requires a tweak in mindset when you're working full time in commission basis. And I'm so grateful for the Live Younger structure so that we can continue to learn from each other. Thank you for listening.
Oh, that was
Right.
beautiful. And
Mhm.
something that you said, one of our coaches from a ways back, Terry Warner, said something wonderful. When you see someone in a situation like you had, Ravel, if there was something safe, natural, and affordable that could help your, Gregory calls them lumpuckaroos, what's your openness to learn about it? And I just thought that was such a brilliant line when you're talking to someone you don't know, because we're looking for people that are open, and they show up all over the world in our life when we just get out of our house or even on the phone. So just know that, and Ravel, you embody consistency magnificently, and it shows up in your business. So congratulations to you, my dear. Thank you. Anne, you're next.
Morning. Yeah, as I was listening to Dr. Velvet, I couldn't help but think of, what makes us fear. I mean, really, when you think about what's going on with us when we get upset about something, it's usually something that we fear inside, and maybe there's something for us to learn when that's happening. Isn't that what this business is about? It's about personal growth, growing ourselves. And when we stick with it and we realize, I mean, for me, when I start to get like that, I have my favorite prayer is a serenity prayer. Why? Because I want to stay in serenity. I don't want to go into that spot. So I try to remind myself of that. And as I was listening this morning, I couldn't help but but remind myself that, as I look back, it's been 20 years that I've done relationship marketing, but I didn't do it right initially. I mean, I had a lot to learn. It took me a long time to learn a lot of the skills that I've developed over time. And reading all the authors, like Maxwell and Eric Worre and Randy Cage and Ray Higdon. I mean, there's just so many books. I mean, I have a slew of books. What's the book? Is it Caldwell, the one that 10,000 hours? I mean, and that's a good reminder that in order to get really good with this type of businesses, we got to put the 10,000 hours in. And that does mean ups and downs and dealing with those. And you know what? When we have the downs, it's an opportunity for us to learn something about that. When we have the objections, it's an opportunity for us to learn how do we deal with that objection and get better with that objection so that we know how to handle it. So all of what Dr. Velvet talked about was perfect. It was beautiful. Well done, Dr. Velvet.
Thank you, Anne. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
thank you so much, Anne. And Anne has blossomed into a great leader, and she's put her hours in. And what you said, Anne, about being reactive. So I invite all of us to notice, in day-to-day life, what happens on the outside, and if it's getting us reactive, to catch enlightenment is, I love this definition, is catching ourselves off track quicker than the time before. So if we notice that something happened outside, they rejected us, or, traffic, it doesn't matter what it is. If we're reactive, we're victims. And, this is a business to strengthen ourselves so that no matter what happens, we can move and flow with it. I had someone yesterday and I couldn't believe how reactive she was to something really, really simple. And I'm going, I so rarely have that in my life in our community, but it was so obvious to me. And we want to be in control. We want to be stable. And we're living in such disruption in our world, and if we allow all that's going on out there to throw us all over in the waves, then we've lost our sense of calm. And that's where our strength comes from, that Dr. Velvet said. So thank you so much for that, Anne. Lavelle and then Marianne. Oh, we got a little echo, echo, echo.
Oh, that
Okay.
was me. Sorry about that. Great stuff, Dr. Velvet. I hope everyone was taking notes. There was a lot of stuff in there, guys. She talked about anybody but anything but you. Third party validation is everything, guys. We're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves, guys. But I do
Yes.
want to share another thing. Um, the roller coaster, that's just a great concept because, but I'm gonna go back to, I'd like to add to what you said, Dr. Velvet, about if it's going to be, it's up to me. Guys, you got to understand that you are the common denominator because there's going to be ups and downs in life, in your business. And then, as Ann just talked about, it takes time to develop these skills. Guys, be patient with yourself, guys. That's what it's
Beautiful.
all about. Thanks so much for letting me share.
Thank you, Lavelle. That was wonderful. Marianne, and then Allie.
Yes, I wanted to just say that I was successful in resigning from LifeWave Now by simply emailing LifeWave at now.site, S-I-T-E, and I put that in the chat. I heard that on some training or something, and I was
Wonderful.
successful in being able to resign from it. And the second thing, I love your presentation, Dr. Velvet. So much wonderful information and reminders and motivation for me and inspiration. Would you be willing to share what AI tools you use to create those amazing slides? I would love to know.
Yeah, and you might want to know the process too, because as I said earlier, AI cannot create without you. So what I
Yes.
did is I took my structure, my outline, and I took my story, right? I put in the story of
Mhm.
my business and practice. And as the outline came into a beautiful structure, I now commanded it to create a slide that would go with that particular piece that I wanted to talk about. Now, I do allow AI to give me its first example, and if I don't like it, I will let it know, no, I want to do a cartoon. But today, I really felt like it needed to be a higher level instead of just a cartoon like we have with, Sparky, right? That can be fun, but this was important, and this needed to be elevated to that professional level. And I do tell my I love it, stick with it, keep doing this. And then we go through each one of the slides together, and I make those adjustments as needed by telling him and I do call him a him. I tell him what I want changed. So AI can't work without you. And
And
I
were you
yeah,
using?
Which
chat
AI
Chat
tool?
GPT?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And so what Dr. Velvet just said is so amazing. It is the quality of the promptings, they call them, that create the results. And it's like the quality of our questions makes a difference in the quality of the questions we ask people, the quality of questions we live in ourselves. And when you're using AI, you want to ask really good, very specific questions. So you want to really refine it, and it gives you the opportunity after it creates something. Would you like it more heartfelt? Would you like it more professional? And so you can tweak it so many ways. So have fun, just jump in. And the more you jump in, the more you realize, oh my gosh, this is going to save me so much time and create wonderful things. They were beautiful slides. Okay, Ellie, you're next.
Thank you. Great trainings. I love how all the trainings that we get offered with our upline, it's like a gas station stop along the way, throughout the week where we get to fill up and it gets to inspire us. Even though I've been in the industry for 13 plus years, I've heard all this before, but every time you get it at a whole nother level. And like I said, it's like adding gas to the tank to help push you further along or bring you further along. And when you were talking about the roller coaster, I've seen that video with where they take I don't know if it's a steel ball thing one that you used, and it showed the different dips in it, and it showed actually the ups and downs. It really helped because the further you drop, the more propulsion you have to go up. But along that same theory, or not necessarily that theory, but along this premise of personal development, that's another thing that I love about this industry is like the only way you're going to rank up is by continuing to personally develop yourself and being consistent even if it's just 15 minutes a day doing something of personal development. And one of the tools that I've been using as part of what I've been do with my scripture study, my Come Follow Me lesson, and it was talking about when we murmur, we don't trust God's plan. And so when people are murmuring about what's going on with the water machine, they're not trusting God's plan. God has a greater plan than we can even conceive of. So thank you again for another fabulous training. Appreciate you all.
Beautiful, beautiful. That was wonderful, Ellie. And remember Jim Rohn's quote, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business because you are your business. And you will notice and reap the rewards when you do the growth that Ellie was just talking about and Dr. Velvet was talking about and all of you. It will show up in your business. And it has been such a gift. I mean, I love this profession for that reason. Gregory and I like to call it a greenhouse. It's a safe place to grow. And that's what we want to provide for everybody is, an opportunity. No matter what rank you get to, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that you personally are fulfilling and living more of your own potential. So it is the top of the hour. We're going to call this complete for today. We want to thank everyone for showing up. You guys are doing the work and we love having you. And this, we will, let's see, next week, we have to figure out what we're going to do next week because many of us will be in Hawaii. So stay tuned. There will not be a Monday night call. We will have a newsletter. Tuesday, we may have a recording because Gregory and Janet, our presenters, will be in Hawaii. So stay tuned on the schedule for next week. It's going to be a little different, and a bunch of us will be. We have the honor of celebrating together with many of you in Hawaii. If you have not told me you're going to Hawaii, as I want to put a little group chat together so I can stay connected with people and let you know where we are and what's going on. Please let me know. I think everyone has my contact info or reach out to me on Facebook. And if you don't, and I'll make sure you have it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. A special, huge thank you to Dr. Velvet and aloha.
Robin, just want to mention
Thank you, Dr. Velvet.
that
You're
Robin.
welcome.
Synergy.
Appreciate you both.
aloha.
Trip.
Have a good X39 day.
You can unmute and say goodbye and thank you to Dr. Velvet if you want.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Dr.
much,
Yes.
Velvet.
Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Velvet.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Velvet.
Thank you, Dr.
Absolutely.
Velvet.
Have a good one.
So much.
Thanks so much.
Velvet, you rock.
Synergy.
Appreciate it.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.